So the Caro-Kann opening is very popular with Gotham Chess making videos and everything, but it always was a popular opening. It was always one of the main openings: the Sicilian, the Caro-Kann, the Scandinavian, King's Pawn, Queen's Gambit decline or accepted. You name it, these are popular openings. Now, the main line is bishop f5 here. Now, we would play knight g3, just hitting the bishop. The bishop retreats because it doesn't want to lose you don't want to lose a piece, right? So then after these developmental moves, we play h4, trying to trap the bishop. After h6, we push. The bishop comes back here. We develop our bishop. We have a trade, and then the game begins. But another common way to play the Caro-Kann, I'm sure you'll see this if you play the Caro-Kann all the time against it, or you play it yourself, is knight f6. Now, after knight f6, we just take. That's the book move. Now, your opponent can take with g6, which is the Bronstein variation. I have a video on that. I'll link in the description. Or they can take the normal way with the e-pawn. Now, this used to give me problems because there's 4 pawns here, and that's very annoying because the king's going to castle over here, and it has 4 pawns protecting it, which is not the norm in chess. And that really could throw players off. It always would throw me off. And what I would do here is my opponent would castle kingside. I would castle kingside. We would have a boring game. I couldn't penetrate my opponent's defense. And because I have 3 pawns here and they have 4 pawns, it was naturally easier for them to attack me, and I would lose the game. So, but I found a very fun and easy way to crush this opening. Now, and this is actually the way you're supposed to play it. I play c3 here first. Then I play bishop d3, aiming my pieces immediately at the king side. My opponent castles, and then I play queen c2. Now, this is not something I found by any means, but this is how you're supposed to play it. And this is, a lot of players don't play it like this. However, what I'm about to go into is not really mentioned. I've never seen mentioned in any book or online video besides, maybe a video I had before in the past. But right here, I'm immediately threatening the h-pawn with check. My opponent has to defend that, has 2 legitimate ways of defending that. They're technically king h8, which is really funky, and then playing this and that defense, so I can't take the pawn there. But really, it's h6 or g6. Now, they're both good moves. h6, according to the computer, is slightly better, but according to me, it's way better. Now, why is that? If you play h6, you're defending this pawn because it's not there anymore. Not only that, if I go to launch a kingside attack, because I'm going to castle queenside, I'm going to run into a blockade here. Also, if I try to push this pawn to help break open the kingside on g5, g5 is going to be met by 2 pawns, a bishop, and a queen behind it. But let's say the queen goes away somewhere and the bishop goes here. There's still always going to be 2 pawns there. That's a bind. That's really tough to defend. So h6, excellent move. g6, what my opponent played here, is still a great move. However, your opponent has to play perfect here. It's really actually hard for a human being to play this. And almost every time I play against this, I win. And I'm going to show you a very easy way to play against this and to create a lot of attacks and a lot of winning chances. And in this game, I won very quickly. I'm going to show you right now what the strategy is. Okay, so we have a battery here. Now, why do I develop my bishop? Well, I'm blocking this file for his rook because he wants to throw in some discovered checks and stuff. So I'm blocking the file. I'm also preparing to castle queenside. That's the main strategy here. I'm not going kingside, I'm going queenside. So I go queenside here, and my opponent plays bishop d6. And now what's the last part of the strategy is to play h4. The reason why I don't like g6, unless I'm playing against it, then I really like it, is because it allows me to play h4, h5, and open up the h file. I'm going to show you how that works. I play h4, and after queen c7, I play h5. Now here, I'm threatening to open up the h file, and if my opponent takes, well then I'm winning this pawn, and everything falls. So my opponent's in a dilemma. We want to put our opponents in dilemmas, meaning whatever they do, they have problems. So whatever choice they make, it's not great. So if my opponent pushes the pawn. You might be saying that's a good idea because you want to, close the position where your opponent's attacking, but that would just drop this pawn immediately. And not only that, I would just develop and I'm crushing my opponent. I could break through somehow very quickly. I have a lead in development. This is not good for my opponent. So here my opponent did neither. He said, I don't want to open up this position. I don't want to push. I'm just going to play bishop f4. And here, I mentioned this in the previous video I made. When you're attacking, you don't want to trade pieces, really. You want to build the pressure. If I traded here, that would be a big mistake. I'm inviting my opponent's queen to the game with check. When I move out of the way, he drops back to h6 and helps him defend his king side. I'm still better here, much better, but why help your opponent out? So here I actually just took on g6. My opponent takes. I take back. My pawn's hanging, but he really doesn't have time to take it because my attack is so strong. So he takes back here. Now, I'm absolutely winning about +5, and we succeeded in our plan, in our strategy, right? However, you have to be good with tactics. If you're not good with tactics, you can have the best strategy in the world, deploy it, execute it well, you did it, and now you don't know what move to play now because you don't see the winning mate in 3, mate in 4, or winning a piece or whatever. So you have to play your tactics puzzles. You have to get sharp with your tactics because that's your backbone in chess. That's everything. That's your foundation, in other words. That backs up everything. So here, pause your videos. What's the tactic? It's pretty easy, I think. We're just going to play bishop g6 here. That's what I played. And my opponent took back, which he can't do, but he did. And I get 2 pawns for the piece, but more importantly, my queen staring his king in the face. My rook is open. This rook is not defended. Why is this rook not defended? Well, because of development. So if his bishop was developed, his knight was developed somewhere, the rooks would be connected. This would not be attacked. But since he's not developed, it is attacked. Now, if my opponent runs away with the king, I would just throw in a check. If he comes back here, we have checkmate. And if he comes back here to defend, we have checkmate. So my opponent can't do those moves. So my opponent defended with the queen, but now I took the rook and my opponent blocked. Now again, the theme, we don't trade pieces when we're ahead, although that would be fine. You would still be winning here. What's another way of really building the pressure? Really try to be sharp with your tactics. Make chess as easy as possible for you. I played rook h8, deflecting the king from the queen, and then I took my opponent resigned. There you go, guys. Hopefully you found that video helpful. And if you like that video, check out this one. I'll catch you guys next time. Go play some chess.